Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
Okay, so Kaylee, let's take a step back here. Let's go to, I guess, the fact that, how long have you been living in this house?
At the time, it had been 2 months, probably.
Okay, so it's a new house for you then?
Yes.
Okay, so is it a new area where you're living at? Okay.
Yes.
So it's in Texas, and are you from Texas, or is this all new to you?
I'm originally from Texas,
okay.
But I spent the past 5 years living in Berlin. So we had just moved from Berlin to Texas.
Okay.
So Texas isn't new to me, but this area of Texas I'd never been to before.
Okay. So you're living there for 2 months, and then this strange event happened. Did anything lead up to this strange event? Like, have you had any other signs that something might be kind of weird?
Not really. We have a lot of wildlife in our area. So I think, we've been kind of amazed by, the amount of weird animals we've seen. We have, bobcats, I think is what they're called in our area. Tons of rabbits, lizards. So we've kind of just been enjoying seeing the wildlife in our backyard.
So do you back up to open space or anything like that?
No, we live in a neighborhood where we are very close to our neighbors. Yeah.
Okay. And this neighborhood, is it a pretty big neighborhood, or is it pretty small? Is it kind of out in the middle of nowhere?
I mean, it's Texas, so everywhere can feel like the middle of nowhere.
Sure.
We back up. We're very close to a park. So there's a park that's pretty close to us, but it's pretty much a dog park. There's a kid's playground, not a national park or something like that. But our house is surrounded by other homes. And the way that our homes are set up, there's these, instead of a street going behind your house where your backyard would be, it's alleyways. So so at the end of my story, when I say like the thing went over our fence, he went into like the neighboring alleyway. And then where the two fences, our neighbor's fence and our fence, there's a gap between the two, a tiny gap.
So when you say an alleyway, is it something then like the backyards kind of face each other to create like a way for people to park back there with their cars?
Exactly.
Okay. Okay.
And we all have these gated fences. Okay.
So take us to then this night when this happened, and kind of let us know just a little bit about, what led up to how you saw this creature and what it looked like and everything else.
Sure. So it was a very typical night. We had just adopted our dog. My boyfriend and I just started our new jobs. So we, we're kind of in that mindset. But we were trying to make sure that we play enough with our new dog, Holly, in our backyard, because she's very energetic. And so I told my boyfriend, like, can you take Holly out? He takes her out to the backyard and is playing with her. And I'm on the couch finishing up some work, but I'm kind of looking into the backyard a few times to see how they're doing. And when it happened, there was just nothing atypical about the night. No weird events that happened before. And
did you hear any kind of sounds or anything like that? Anything that seemed off at all?
Not really.
Okay.
When I went outside, there were some weird noises.
But not leading up to that, just when you went outside then.
I couldn't hear really what was going on outside.
Sure.
I could hear my boyfriend yelling to ask me to come outside.
Okay.
But and I can hear my dog barking, but nothing else. I'm working and I'm kind of peeking outside every so many minutes, and I do see the thing first, because I guess I saw my dog run across, I don't know, my view of the backyard. It's I could see through the door, and so I just see my dog, race across.
Right.
And I look up, and there's this thing. I could see what she was chasing, and I don't know. I guess I thought it was a lizard. That's what she likes to chase, and they often crawl along our fence.
So whatever this thing was,
know.
it was crawling along the fence line.
It was flying.
It was flying.
But it was because of where it was and because of how straight it was flying.
Mm-hmm.
I thought at first maybe it was crawling. And so I opened the door. I hear my boyfriend's called me, I think, twice at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And he's kind of at the very end of the backyard, and he's just watching it, so confused. And he's like, "Look at this thing." And now, I'm looking at it.
Was it easy to kind of see? Like, did you guys have any porch lights that were on? And
so, yeah, we have a lot of lights in our backyard.
Okay.
We have lights that align the whole bottom, like along the grass. Mm-hmm. We have lights also that outline the top of our fence.
Oh, really?
And so that's why it was that was why it was a bit tricky to know, or at least to think back to, if it was glowing or not, because yes, we could see it very clearly, and it was a yellow, maybe a little bit of an orangey color.
Okay. And
about the exact size of a 12-inch ruler.
Really?
Yeah. So it was very long. It was about the size of a ruler. If you could imagine this creature, like ruler shaped, just flying or hovering along our fence line. So if that gives you a good idea. There was nothing distinguishable about it. It looked like, I don't know, maybe an orb, but it was also very animal-like. It was so weird. It was interacting with my dog. So my dog was running all around the yard trying to catch this thing, and she's part greyhound.
Okay.
She's fast, and will give up. She will never give up. So she would have chased this thing like till morning.
Right.
But yeah. So she's chasing this thing. It's not just going along our fence line, but it's not moving super far into our yard. So it's not flying around my boyfriend and I. It's kind of staying towards the back corner of our yard.
Okay.
And but it was like it was taunting the dog, which was quite strange because most animals, when Holly's chasing them, they're scared for their life. So they're running away, or they're in a panic and trying to just get out of the backyard. And
I could imagine, because greyhounds are big dogs, right?
Yeah,
they're pretty decent size.
Yeah, she's a medium-sized dog.
Yeah,
she
goes. They're very active. Does she bark a lot?
Not really, but if there's an animal in the yard or a person, she barks.
So I could see where animals would be, a little edgy around a type of dog like that. I mean, it's not like she's a little dog. She's a decent sized dog, and she has a lot of energy. Probably can, like you said, run all night and chase after whatever she needs to chase after. So the question is, though, is this creature, did it have wings if it was flying then?
No. So weird. It had no distinguishable features. It was also silent. So at the very end of my experience with it, I was hearing weird noises. But
like what kind of noises were you hearing?
When I was looking at it, I couldn't even say, like, kind of screeching noises. But I couldn't see it at this point. It went between my neighbor's fence and my own fence, where there's just a tiny bit of space, and it sounded like it was almost crawling on the ground, and I could tell it was going towards, the front of our house.
Oh, like through that alleyway, the side alleyway.
Through the alleyway, through our fences, and like moving kind of behind us into like where our front yard is. And I looked for it forever. But then at that point, I heard a lot of bustling in the leaves, and I heard some weird sounds, but I don't know if it was another animal that made these sounds. But when I was looking at it at first, It was completely silent because at first I thought lizard.
Mm-hmm.
Then I thought, could this be a drone or something?
Okay.
That's the most
Sure.
obvious explanation. But
Sure.
my boyfriend, he's an engineer, and he like knows a lot about technology.
Mm-hmm.
And I know enough about technology to know this definitely wasn't a drone unless it was, if it was a drone, it would almost be more interesting to me because I've never seen something that like this would, from what I know, like this would not be possible. And it would be very interesting if there was some technology that, like this that existed.
Right.
But yeah, it was completely silent. And the way it moved, there was no, unwavering hovering. It was completely smooth. And with most animals, if it was a lizard or something like that, once it moved, across the fence and it wanted to turn around, it would have to do something to turn it around.
Right.
It would either have to just like move its body to readjust and go in the other direction.
Right.
And this thing just, easily could move from side to side, frontwards, backwards, without
moving its body, you mean? Is that what you're saying? So it's not like...
Yeah, we're calling it a body.
Well, yeah. Yeah, if you want to call it that. Yeah, I guess. So did this thing have like a head, a face, eyes, anything like that?
I got pretty close to it. I was probably 7 or 8 feet away from it.
Okay.
And that was my goal. So when I first saw it, I was like, what is this? And I didn't think it would be anything, that I would think about the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. And so I was just, trying to get a better look. And then, I had this feeling like I got to get my camera, but I still hadn't figured out, what any possibilities for what this could be. So I was thinking, and it was moving around so fast that I was like, okay, by the time I find my camera, like my phone is somewhere in the living room, I'm going to miss the whole experience. Yeah. And I thought like by that point I could figure out what it was and then I wouldn't be thinking about it the rest of my life. Right. So I might as well just like try to like just get a good look at it. Yeah. And
just so you know, that's what a lot of people don't understand in this type of situation, because people always say, look, there's, billions of cameras out there. Every phone has a camera. Why can't somebody get a picture? Why can't it be a clear picture? Right. I hear it all the time. And the thing is that when you're in that moment, and I've had my own moments, I've had my own sightings as well, you don't think of it. Everything in your thought process is you're trying to understand what it is you're looking at first. And then by the time you even try to go for your camera, it's gone. It's not going to stay in one place, especially in your situation. If it's just taunting your dog as it's moving through your area, it's not going to stay there. It's no different than, we have deer that walk in our backyard. So as the deer come through, if I say, I need to go get my camera, and it's a deer, trust me, we all know what deer look like. We've all seen them. There's no mystery surrounding it. But every time I go to get my camera, I come back, the deer's gone. Right. They're gone. They continue on. It's just, everything is so quick. And I think that, people need to realize that even in this circumstance that, you were just like, hey, I understand that if I go try to get my camera, I can miss out on this. So I'm just going to just absorb it and see as much as I can of it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there was one point where it felt like it was going to stay for a while. So I did have the thought to kind of like, okay, now I can maybe go get my camera. But at that point it was actually leaving. So my dog, once it chased it back and forth across the yard, and I guess it was, I don't know, my dog was chasing it, but it wasn't really running away from it. It was kind of just, it was playing with it. So, I don't know that many, it had to have been pretty intelligent. I guess the only the only animal that I can think of that does this with my dog is a squirrel. And even a squirrel is pretty afraid of my dog. It looks like it's playing with my dog, but I think it's just trying to like figure out an escape route.
Well, even if it was just playing with your dog, I think that it realized that it probably maybe had more, maybe it was higher up on the food chain than the dog. Meaning, and what I mean by that is that it knew that it had more capability to outsmart or outwit or outrun the dog. Okay.
Yeah.
So it didn't really care. You know, it just thought maybe it was just playing. Right. I could see that maybe, but as far as the intelligence thing goes, I'm just trying to figure out how it's flying with no wings.
Right. It's so weird. I mean, it's hovering.
Okay. So it's a body. And like you said, I mean, maybe a body. I don't know what.
Could have been an orb. I mean, I've looked into all possibilities. You know, I've showed my boyfriend a million photos of things that the thing is, like, my boyfriend and I, we weren't talking to each other the whole experience. We were both kind of just bewildered.
Sure.
And then when it had left, we both kind of sat down in our couch that we have like outdoor furniture, and we both just talked. And the first thing I said to him was, like, I want to just confirm what I saw. So can you just tell me what you just saw? Because what I saw, I can't really explain it. But
now, what did he think that it was? Now he's the skeptic.
What did he? He says he doesn't know. He has no idea. You know, he's very skeptical. You know, he doesn't. I like to watch all sorts of, you know, documentaries on, you know, I guess he calls everything ancient aliens.
Right.
Ancient aliens.
Right.
But he thinks it's a bit hoaxy, or he just like isn't very entertained by it. I don't think he thinks, you know, that he believes in aliens. He's more scientific minded, so I guess he feels that statistically they must exist. He's just not that interested in them, and he's had a few paranormal experiences where that he's told me about that he just can't explain, and they are quite weird and very, very random. And so and those are just, he has like two events. He believes in those because he experienced them, but anything else he just has no comment on, because how could he know in his mind? Yeah. And
do
do
you by chance have like a piece of paper and a pen in front of you by chance?
Yeah. Not a blank one, but here. Yeah. All right.
Would you mind just drawing kind of what it looked like and then holding it up to the camera so that way everybody can kind of see and visualize it?
Okay.
And you don't have to be an artist here.
I have a whiteboard.
Just something
I'll just draw it up.
Okay.
I'm not a very good artist.
No, you're fine.
So let's say this is my house.
Okay.
This is my backyard. This is the fence. And then, so we're here on our porch. Here's a tree. This is the fence. Here's our gate.
Okay.
So, gate. And I'm kind of over here. My boyfriend's also kind of over here.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's fine.
And then my dog is just kind of running around.
Okay.
And then this thing is, it's just a line.
Really?
I think I wrote that. Here, I can draw a picture of it. But it's such a ridiculous thing to draw a picture of because, like, my boyfriend calls it the line.
Okay.
Like the floating line. It is just a straight line, the width of a ruler, the length of a ruler, a yellowish, goldish color.
Mm-hmm.
And
floating without making a sound.
it was no sound at all. But I thought it was so interesting that it had kind of it felt like it had an emotional capability because it was interacting with my dog. It wasn't trying to scare my dog. And I tried to get a look. So I went around to get behind it. And when I was behind it, it was the same. You know, there were no, it couldn't have been a drone. There's no way. There's no way. It made zero noise.
So, so your boyfriend, who's an engineer, says, okay, I'm a skeptic, but I know what I saw. I saw something. I can't explain it. He's saying he can't explain it.
Yeah.
But in your mind, because you're the Ancient Aliens viewer, right? What do you think you saw? Do you think that you saw something that could have been an extraterrestrial or something that could have been more maybe like a spirit, a ghost? Because those usually are like orbs. Or do you think that maybe you saw, there's an old story that they used to talk about in the 90s, which they were called rods. And they were these things that would fly into cameras, essentially. That's how you could pick them up, or you could pick them up out of the corner of your eye. But they were, they were small, but they were like rectangular shape in a way.
Okay. I'll look into this.
Yeah.
I don't know about this.
So the rods thing has not been talked about in a while. I haven't seen anything really pop up on that, but
interesting.
It was a really big thing in the late 90s. Everybody was seeing them. Everybody had experiences with them.
Okay. Yeah, so, it felt, I think it's Men in Black. There's a scene, I think it's the first scene, where the aliens come to Earth and they're just in a park, and it's like their first encounter, and they're kind of just going through civilization, and then a few people see them just in the park. And I guess that's kind of how I felt. Like, maybe it felt very extraterrestrial.
Okay.
It felt like something that escaped from a lab.
Really?
That's kind of what it felt like to me. It felt like something that was on the run, kind of. And it just, it was somewhere in the city, and it just came across my dog and kind of took a break. Took a minute to hang out with my dog.
Speaking to that point that you just made, is there anything around your neighborhood that it might have escaped from? Is there anything like, are there government facilities? Is there an Air Force base nearby? Is there anything that is close to you like that?
I have been trying to look into this a bit. It's Texas, so of course I don't think there is a military base close to me, but we have DFW Airport, which is, huge. I think it's the biggest, maybe the second biggest airport in the U.S. So I know we have Lockheed Martin. Okay. I think the headquarters is in Dallas.
Yeah.
And just the other day, my boyfriend and I, we stumbled across this one facility that's in the same, I guess, sub-city that we live in.
Okay.
And it said it was I don't know, it had barbed wire everywhere, and it was some sort of testing facility. And there were all of these, I don't know, it was like concrete, like buildings that were square, and they all looked the same.
Okay.
And it just like had so many security cameras, and it was kind of in the middle of nowhere in a bad part of town. So I thought, okay, this could be a place where they're doing some undercover.
And that's pretty close to your house?
and
that's pretty. What? And that area is pretty close to your house?
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes away.
Okay.
So, I'm gonna look into what this place does officially. I don't know what they actually do. But,
yeah. Okay.
But
that's interesting.
Yeah, it's possible that it could have escaped from. There's all sorts of stuff going on in Texas.
That is really interesting. Now, since then, though, have you had anything?
Nothing at all.
And how long ago did this happen for you?
This happened in March. So
Yeah, so
it's been a little bit of time. We do have
months.
Cameras though.
Oh, okay. So now you have cameras then set up.
Now
okay.
I have cameras. I'm gonna, but I haven't. But it's crazy. My dog searched for this thing for about a month. Every single night, the dog would go into the backyard and go kind of the same route that she saw this creature, and kind of look around for it. And my dog would also look at me like, is it coming back? It was so strange.
Huh.
I think now she's kind of forgotten about it, but I do know if it ever returns to my backyard, I'll hear my dog barking at it. So.
Yeah. Wow, that's really interesting. Well, I got to say, thank you so much for sharing the story and also showing us, your little art form there, your little picture.
I can also, I don't know how you can show things on your platform, but I can take some photos of the backyard.
Yeah, I could always add those to this. Absolutely.
All right, I'll do that.
That'd be great.
Yeah, at the moment we have a bunch of wood piled up, so I wasn't going to take people out there because it's a bit messy. But yeah, I'll take some photos so you guys can visualize it.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
And if you hear from any of your listeners and they have some idea of what it could be, I'm open to anything. And I've actually learned about a lot of really cool and interesting phenomenon just from people giving me their insight on what it could be.
I want to thank you for watching this video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. We talk about a lot of crazy stuff here, so if you want to hear more, just like and subscribe to the channel. It would really help us out a lot. And plus, if you have a crazy story, whether it be an alien abduction, near-death experience, or something of the paranormal, or a glitch in the matrix, please let us know. Share it in the comments. We'd love to have you on the show.